Which one you use? Leave it there. Just leave it there. I looked right at it and I was doing something. Right at it. Huh? Okay. Yeah, you did an amazing job just doing it.
Hey, Shalom be more, Shalom Israel, you understand? We the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, you understand? We are under Commanding General Yohana. If it's not under Commanding General Yohana, it is not the truth. You understand? Like, we've been bringing this truth out since 1969, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the true children of the Lord, you understand?
Right.
Like, and that's a heavy claim. That's a heavy claim, you understand? We the only ones that can make that claim because it's the truth. You understand? Like, and what makes it so heavy is the things that we've been teaching our people, or the things that the ISUPK have been teaching our people since 1969. You're starting to see it unravel right before our very eyes, you understand? For so long, people make jokes and say, is Christ gonna crack the sky? We should love everybody on the earth and all that nonsense. We saying in the earth that we're gonna have to choose sides.
Right.
You understand? Like, we saying that we're gonna have to choose sides. You can't say that I'm just gonna love everybody at this point. The Lord is putting division in the earth.
Right.
The Lord is forcing us to choose sides, which He already told us to do in the Bible already. You understand? Because here's the thing. Our oppressor, this colonizer, the so-called white man, he has a punishment to pay, man. You understand? It's a judgment that must be rendered unto him.
Right.
You understand? Like, what he did to us, us being the children of the Lord, the blacks, Hispanics, the North American Indians, you understand? Like, you know, the Colombians, you know, what he did to us, he has never been punished for. We've never received justice from anything that he's done to us, but we still want to be friendly with him. And it shows the mindset that we have, because when it comes to them, like right now, they're still locking up what they call officials who were in the Nazi camp. You understand? Like they still, like, I'm quite sure that everybody heard a few years ago, he was the Nazi, he was the bookkeeper. He was the jail bookkeeper. He was like 90-some years old. He had an oxygen tank and he was in a wheelchair. And they still tracked him down and arrested him. His family actually fought, saying, listen, he's not fit to serve prison. He's not fit for justice. They say, listen, in order for his victims to get justice, he got to go to jail. And we don't care what kind of condition he's in. So here's the thing. The so-called white man understands justice as it pertains to him getting justice.
Right.
You understand? But here's the thing. The Lord understands justice as it pertains to Israel. You understand? This oppressor that we're under, judgment is coming into him. And we're seeing it in the earth right now. Like, everybody can see it in the earth. Like, though we've been bringing out since 1969, now the entire world can see it on their own. Now maybe the earth will listen to the priests and prophets of the Lord and do what the priests and prophets of the Lord have been telling them since 1969, so that we as a nation, so that we as a people do not get caught up in the judgment that's set for them. You understand? The first thing that we got to recognize is, who is our enemy? Like, the Lord is not for everybody. You understand? The Lord is not for everybody. Our justice is, it coincides with them receiving their judgments. What the Lord has for them is directly proportionate to what the Lord has for us. So when the Lord punishes them, the Lord blesses us. When we're getting punished, that's when their kingdom is rising. You understand? It's directly proportionate, and proportionate, meaning we both won't be up at the same time. We both won't be down at the same time. One is going to be up, one's going to be down, and vice versa. Here's the thing. His kingdom is coming to an end, man. Now you see it in the earth right now. His judgment he's just saying the beginning of his judgment. You understand? Like, but as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have to understand who our enemy is and why he must be punished.
Right.
Why we can't keep loving him. You know, why loving him is self-hatred. Not only to ourselves, but to our brothers, to our sisters, to our forefathers who fought and died. Like they like to say, you know, we vote because our ancestors died for us to give us the opportunity to vote. Listen, our ancestors died so we would not have to vote. You understand? We have a king that we're under right now. We under Yahweh, which the earth knows is Jesus Christ.
Right.
You understand? He's our king. The Lord has already chosen. The Most High has already chosen for us. We don't have to vote to put another man above us at this point. You understand? Like, our king is set.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we become traitors when we start putting other nations over us. When we start choosing a man over Yahweh himself. You understand? And we're going to get these in the scriptures, man. We're going to find out who our enemy is this evening. We already know, but we want to see what the Lord has to say. You understand? Because people make it seem like these are our words. These are not our words. God, like what we say comes directly from the scripture. God is distinguishing who our enemies are to us and telling us who we should look out for. And we're going to get that in the scripture. Let me get the first one, Deuteronomy 28:68. Like they got us on a Southern poverty hate group. You know, as a hate group, which is so false. Which is so false. You understand? Like, we are considered a hate group because we love our own people. How idiotic is that? Like, we're on the list with people who murder other individuals because of the color of their skin.
Right.
Who sack entire nations. You understand? Who run up in their own government's capital and destroy it. We're on the list with them. We're on the list with murderers. Right. You understand? People who are bloodthirsty. That's not who we are. You understand? But because we love each other, that's why we're placed on that list. How dare we love each other? You understand?
Right.
But guess what? This is what the Lord said. You got that?
Sure. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. You know, I know a lot of people have read this, you know, but we're still going to go over these scriptures because it's important that we show that the Most High is distinguishing who our enemy is. This is the Most High's word. Right. It said, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Egypt means bondage. You understand? The first thing people say is, black people sold black people. You understand? Slavery was just a part of a way of life back then. You understand? Blacks sold blacks, you know, then so it's no difference when a white sell a black or a white have a black in slavery. Right. You know, just go ahead, Natsu.
No, that's super heavy what you're talking about because you will not, you know, everybody say that, you know, we same as an African, you know what I'm saying? The Egyptian, which is the African, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, try to call a Korean a Japanese, or Japanese a Korean. You know what I'm saying? Koreans, I don't even, a lot of people don't know that Koreans are a mixture of Japanese and a Chinese. Right. And they gave them their own, you know, land, and then they split that in half. So now you got North and South Korea. You know what I'm saying? But you won't see a Japanese call themselves Korean. Right. That's why the ISUPK, you won't see the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans never call ourselves African.
That's right. You know and that's a heavy point, you know, because we got to understand that this so-called white man that we're under, he's merciless, you understand? Like, he's a beast. Like, the scriptures describe him as a beast, you understand? And it's so heavy because I don't know if everyone checked out the interview that Captain Zariak had with the devil on the Killstream platform.
Yeah.
But he actually came out and said that they were merciful to the Native American Indians. He actually came out his mouth and said that they were merciful because they could have what did he say? Genocide. They could have genocided them. They didn't though. They showed them mercy. You understand? Like, that's their mindset when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and natives. Right. That we should be merciful. That we still have life in our body. Right. You understand? That we still exist. That's their attitude towards us. Go ahead, Natsu.
Salaki, if I may. The devil also, he showed that he had no remorse of his ancestors coming to take the land. Like, he was like, so?
Right.
Like, so? What you mean so? This is a whole land, you know, full of people that it didn't belong to your ancestors. Right. And he did not have the remorse to know that his ancestors did the wrong thing.
Right, and because he's the devil.
Right.
Like, that's why we call the so-called white man, we call him the devil that the Bible speaks of because he's so crafty with his tongue. We're going to get that in scripture as well. Right. You know, the scripture say that the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Keep going, Brother Kishore.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, like, we were in our land when the Lord was speaking this to us, you understand? This is what the Lord was telling us what was to befall us, you understand? Keep going.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Thou shalt see it no more again, you understand? We don't have a homeland right now. Like, this is the home of our slavery that we're in. We were not meant to come here to be free men. We were not meant to come here and serve and have good, you know, cushy lives and whatnot. You understand? We came to this land to serve a punishment. That was the entire purpose of us coming here. If that was not the purpose, we could have stayed where we were at. You understand?
Right.
But the thing is, the Lord punished us, so therefore we came up. And he said, by the way wherever I'm speaking to thee, thou shalt not see it no more again. We're not going to know our homeland until Christ come back. You understand? Like, that's not saying that you can't take a trip over and see them, see Israel and parts of the Middle East. That's our land, Turkey, parts of Egypt, things of that nature. But what it's saying is we're not going to be the ruling class of people in that land. Like, we don't own it. You understand? That's also further proof that the so-called Jewish man that's over there right now is an imposter.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
The Lord told us that we won't see it again. What was it, 1940s when he got that land?
1945, no.
49?
43.
Yeah, 48, 49. Where he got that land because of the so-called Holocaust that he went through.
Right.
You understand? All this is showing is that he's an imposter. But it's also showing us who we are. Keep going.
Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Unto your friends.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your brothers.
Unto your enemies.
We are all created equal.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies. You understand? We were sold into our enemies, man. Like, who were we sold to? Like, everybody knows history.
Right.
Everybody knows who black people were sold to. You understand? That's why when they try to say, well, you guys were selling each other, we were not selling each other.
Right.
We fled the Greek persecution in 70 AD, and we fled into West Africa.
Right.
That's why when you see the ancient maps, you see the land of Judah, all in and about those ancient maps. Those Africans understood that we were not the same people.
Right.
The Africans understood that. But Israel being who we are, we started mingling with them. We started doing some of the things they were doing and keeping their customs. This is why we were getting kicked out and punished in the first place.
Right.
You understand? That African knew that we were not the same people, and guess what he did? When the so-called white man came and he said, "Listen, I need some slaves," he signed that treaty paper and he sent us up a river. You understand? We were sold into our enemies, man.
Right.
We were sold into the so-called white man. He is our enemy. Go ahead, Dr.
Once again, you bring a heavy point out, because if you talk to the white man, they'll say, "Oh, we was in slavery too. The Irish came over here,
Right.
was in slavery." Yeah, slavery and indentured serving is two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got paid damn near for what y'all did. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Had a hot meal, had a bed,
And they had a choice.
and you had a choice, and you raised your family correctly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You had a choice. We didn't.
And that's a heavy point, because it shows the craftiness of this beast that we're under. Like, he'll manipulate words and he'll put different spins on things.
Right.
You understand? And this is why we call him the devil, because he speaks in a way in which, when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we listen to him. You understand? And we believe every word that comes out of his mouth. Keep going, Bubba Show.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
For bondmen and bondwomen, you understand? You know what a bondmen and bondwomen are? That is male and female slaves. That's what we were sold as. We were sold as cattle. You understand? The first commodity on Wall Street.
Good, right.
You understand? Like, this is what we were sold as. We came to these lands not to be equal. Like, do you want to know why the so-called white man is storming the Capitol right now? He's storming the Capitol because of the very idea that a so-called Negro could have equal rights to him.
Damn.
You see what I'm saying? A black and Hispanic is going to have the same rights that I have. He's going to be equal to me. When he came over as my slave, like, that's what they're fighting for. We fighting for equality, and they fighting for the right to remain supreme over us. You understand? This is the Lord bringing this out. These are not our words. Keep going.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you. Ain't nobody come to save us, man.
Right.
There's no one come to free us from this. Like the only power that's going to save us is the Most High and Christ. You understand? That's literally who's going to save us. You understand? Like no man is going to come over here and buy it. That's why I hate when the Africans, because the so-called white man, they got a white man problem over there now. He's coming over there. He's calling himself South African, and he's taking all the businesses from them, and he's running their land too. Now, because they have a white man problem, that's when they want to unite with us. We've got to unite, and we've got to fight against him. No, we don't. Yeah. You understand? Because your treaty didn't work in your favor, now you want to come back and you want us to fight with you? No, that's not what's going to happen, man. You understand? As blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we got to understand that no nation is going to come back and buy us. Like, we're not African, because if so, if we were Africans, the same African nations that sold us would have came over here and fought for us. You understand? They never did, because they understood that we were two completely different people. You understand? They told the Haitians that they were not African enough to join that African Union. You understand? Despite the fact that Haiti is so poor. I think they reversed it later on, you feel me? But that was because of persuasion. You understand? Haiti is still not receiving the benefits that these other so-called AU, they call it the AU, the African Union. They're not receiving the same benefits as these other nations, you understand? Because Africa don't recognize them as being part of them. Right. You understand? Like, we have real enemies out here. That's why we don't have time to be enemies to one another. Yeah. You understand? Like, this so-called white man is our enemy, man.
Right.
This is the Lord saying this. But guess what? His judgment is coming. I mean, like, his judgment is coming, man. And the more we look at him as a brother to us, the more we look at him as, we're all one family, we all bleed one blood and all that nonsense, you feel me? As long as we got that doctrine imprinted in our mind, you understand? We'll stand up for him, and we'll go to war with him against each other. We'll hate each other before we actually separate from him. You understand? And that's why it's so dangerous to be a part of them, man. The Lord is telling us. The Lord's been telling us for a long time that we need to separate. Understand? But now you're seeing in the earth that people have to pick sides. You got to choose sides. It ain't no way around it. Let me get Lamentations chapter 1. We're going to do verse 5.
Lamentations chapter 1 verse 5. Her adversities are the chief
adversaries.
Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper. For the Lord has afflicted her for the multitude of the transgressions.
Her adversaries are the chief, her enemies prosper. For the Lord afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. You understand? This is talking about the nation of Israel, man. This is talking about Zion. You understand? Like, our enemies are chief and they prosper. You understand? Like, our enemies, they are superpowers. And the things that they do to us and against us, they prosper from it. You understand? They tell our women to go to abortion clinics, they prosper from that, you understand? They flood our communities with heroin and coke, all manners of dope, you understand? They prosper from that. They prosper from gang banging, they prosper from drug dealing, they prosper from us going to jail, you understand? It's big business, man. You understand? So our princes are becoming like harts that find no pasture. A hart is like a young deer. You understand? You know, a deer pretty much like it roams. You understand? It jumps. It does its own thing. You understand? When you don't got no pasture, you feel me? What are you doing? It's like you have no purpose. You understand? This is what our young men have become. This is what the black man, Hispanic, and Native American man have become. You understand? It said a heart with no pasture. Like we're not serving our purpose, so to speak. You understand? Keep going.
Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy.
They say her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. That's the prime example of that. Like, you haven't heard this in the news in many months. The only people still talking about it is the ISUPK. But look at what's going on with the border. You understand? Our Isupkbmore children right now are being snatched. They're literally being snatched from the arms of their parents, sold into sex slavery, murdered, never to be heard from or seen again. You understand? They had them in cages drinking out of dirty toilets. You understand? Like, this is what's happening to our children, man. The Lord has been describing this in these scriptures for eons. You understand? We've been bringing it out since 1969. Now
Right.
The earth is starting to see. You understand? Now the earth is starting to realize, okay, like, we have a problem here. You understand? But when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we don't understand that our problem is the same man that we want to love. You understand? That man that we want to call our brother, and, you know, we want to feel sorry. We want to feel sorry for any judgment that comes his way. That's the one that we need to beware of. You understand? And that's what we don't get as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We don't understand that our enemy is the one that we love, man. The one that kills us, we love him. That's how destroyed we are. That's how much of a slave mentality we still have as a people. You understand? The Lord is waking this earth up, man. He's showing you firsthand. Like, the Bible is these words are jumping off the page now.
Right.
You understand? The Lord is going to force you to choose a side. You ain't going to be able to play the 50 no more.
Right.
You can't play, be on the fence, I'm for black people, but I want to still do white things. You understand? You ain't going to be able to do it. Either you're going to have to commit yourself to always being a slave to the oppressor, or you're going to have to be a slave to the Most High. You understand?
Okay.
They say you are a slave to whomever you present yourself to, you feel me? You choose. The Lord is allowing you to choose right now, you feel me? You better choose this ISUPK. You understand? Like, you better choose the ISUPK before
Right.
it's too late. You understand? There's going to come a time, man, that, man, right. There's going to come a time that the Lord is going to say, you know what? I gave you enough time. Now I'm about to come in. I'm about to collect. I'm about to tax something now. You feel me? And when that moment happened, where do you stand? You understand? This is what we got to think. Go to verse 6, Brother Kasha.
Verse 6. And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her prince all became like heart. That became like hearts that find no pasture. And they are gone without strength before the pursuer.
Yeah, like, that's what it say. Our young men, man, we gone without strength before our pursuer. You understand?
Right.
Like, we have no power in this earth. You understand? Like, if the so-called white man wants to kill us, he can kill us. And it means absolutely nothing to no one. You understand? If he want to smack our women around and put his hands on our women and disrespect her, if he want to take our children and kill them, do whatever he want to do, you understand? We have no strength against him. This is what happens when we don't recognize who our enemy is, man. This is what happens when we take our power, the Most High, and we turn against him, you understand? We become a traitor to our only advantage in life, you understand? This is what happens. Like, what you see in every major black city is a product of us not doing what the Most High said. You have these so-called, smart individuals, and they come together and they have all these different councils, and they have all these different lectures, This is what's wrong with black people today, and this is that. Listen, and you'll hear none of them say we got to come back to serving the Lord. We need more education. Okay, we need a better education system. We need to put our dollars together. Black people need more money. I beg to differ, you feel me? Last, 20, 30 years, the Black Christian Church then raked up, $420 billion? You understand? Like, we got money. The proof is every drug dealer in the hood, they driving Ferraris, they driving Lamborghinis. You see what I'm saying? Like, they rich. They rich off of black people who, quote unquote, don't have money. We don't have a money issue. You understand? We don't have an issue on the scale when it comes to education that puts us in this condition. You understand? Because you can have a third grade education, but if you understand to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, guess what? You'll be far more wiser than any other person who graduated who don't know. So that's not the end all be all. So you'll have all these wise, so-called wise people speaking on black issues, but none of them are wise enough to say, you know what, we got to return to the Lord, man. We got to start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, you understand? And it's because for them to say that, it goes directly against what their oppressor taught them. These so-called black ministers and these high, these holy rollers, you see what I'm saying? Like, they silent right now. They ain't speaking on no real issues right now. You know why? They've been paid off already. I wish one of them would speak about that capital issue. You see what I'm saying? I wish one of them would speak about it. He'll get counseled. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what Israel, that's what our so-called leaders have become, man. They become weak, effeminate, and they have like hoish tendencies. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like it's to the highest bidder almost. You feel me? Like whoever can pay you off the most, and that's what they become, man. So they can't speak on real issues in the black community. Mm-hmm. That means they can't get that check. They can't fund that mansion that they got. They can't fund that Bentley that they drive. You see what I'm saying? So they'd rather take their riches now instead of standing with the Lord and receiving them riches in His kingdom. Right. You understand? Here in the ISUPK, man, we don't do that. Right. You understand? Right. Like here in the ISUPK, man, all of us, and that's the spirit of the ISUPK, man, is be poor with each other and build each other up. You understand? And we'll get our reward in the kingdom. You understand? Right. But at the end of the day, don't betray your brother. Don't betray your nation. Don't betray your king, you understand, for the riches of this world. And that's what our so-called black leaders don't understand, you understand? Mm-hmm. Let me get Psalms 83. We're going to start in verse 2.
Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemy make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulting against thy hidden ones.
Like they say, for lo, thy enemies they make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. You understand? Like, they've come together and they've made a pact, or they've signed contracts on us, you understand? They that hate thee have lifted up their head, you understand? They've killed us. Like that, this is what they've done since we've been around each other, you understand? They say they've taken crafty counsel against thy people. Like, what you see in the black community is not something that just happened overnight. You understand? This is something that's been planned. Like, we just seeing the fruition of it right now. Right. You understand? Like, that whole welfare, the Welfare Act and the movement of that, you understand? Those things were planned so that you'll see what you see in the streets today. You understand? Like, when you kick a black man out of his home and you leave the house to be ran by a woman, you feel me? 20 years from now, this is what you see. What you see in every major black city every young dude just killing each other left and right. You understand? This is a product of what they plotted and planned on back then. You understand? And this is why we gotta have mercy. And we gotta show compassion towards each other, because we're destroyed because they planned something against us years ago. They destroyed our parents. They destroyed our families. You understand? And Dr. Martin Luther King, that's why we do not respect him.
Right.
That's why we do not agree with his movement. That's why we don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day, you understand? Because he's the one who galvanized. He galvanized black men, women, and children, and sold us a dream, which was actually a nightmare, that we should unite with everybody. You understand? We should unite with the same people that's going to rape, rob, and murder us. You understand? People can say, oh, you have more wealth now. Look at the job you have today. You only have this job because of what Martin Luther King did. You only have this, that, and the third because of integration. Listen, we did not need, we did not need the things we think we need today, back then. I've had countless conversations with my grandmother and grandfather, even before I got into the truth. And they tell me how beautiful their childhood was. And they would be considered poor by today's standard. Mm-hmm. But guess what? They had love in their community then. They had love for one another. My grandmother frequently talked about how they would get together and they didn't have a lot of money, so they would buy ice cream, and the whole, all the kids would split the ice cream. My father would get in the car, drive them, they'd go to the free beach. You understand? They'd play all day there, come home, mama take care of them. You see what I'm saying? They lived the life. You see what I'm saying? You don't need $1 million to enjoy yourself. You understand? You don't need $1 million to have a good life. But what you do need is that structure from home. You need that man in the house. You need that mother in the house. You understand? Our leaders told us that we didn't need that, man. Go ahead, Natazar.
No, it was a sidebar. It just made me think about my pops. Like he was saying, they had a great time back then. You know what I'm saying? They fought. They had a dispute. They won the guns. They went to, you know what I mean? They fought in the street, and they was friends the next day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And their favorite pastime, my father talked about. He used to work for one of the oppressors at a little store when he was a little kid, 10.
Right.
And oppressor, this is how you know the white man the devil, because he used to say, all right, I'm ready to pay you, and give my father a cold Pepsi out the refrigerator. Right. Half of his payment. You know what I'm saying? Like 10 cents, you know what I mean? But that Coca-Cola was almost, cause I don't know if because it had Coke in it and stuff, I don't know, but it was, that was they loved Coca-Cola back then. You know what I'm saying? And so when he gave him that, he was like, yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, damn.
But that's how crafty this
right.
so-called white man is, you feel me? This is why we say he's the devil.
Right.
You understand? People compare the so-called wealth of black America now to our family structure that we had in place back then. There is no comparison. You see what I'm saying? There is no comparison, you understand? Right now, we are building that here in ISUPK. We're building that same atmosphere that was once we once had when we were segregated. You understand? Where you could bring your kids into an event and you ain't got to worry about nothing happening to your kid.
Right.
You understand? Hey man, who kid is this right here? You feel me? We seen him. He was 2 blocks up the street. You feel me? But ain't nobody touch him. Right. Ain't nothing gonna happen to him. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because one of our brothers gonna have him. You understand? This is what we're building. The kingdom of God is being built right here in the ISUPK. You understand? And that's what people don't understand. When we were segregated, man, we actually loved each other. We actually gave a damn about each other. Economics and so-called wealth, you can't equate the two. Your family was your wealth. You understand? And this is what they don't understand. But guess what? This devil understood that. Right. We think that he integrated us for our benefit. He integrated us for his benefit. You understand? That's how he got richer. That's how his kingdom grew. You understand? Because now he can get us on his jobs. He lazy.
Right.
He don't like to work. You understand? He's very shiftless. You understand? Ain't got no kind of work ethic. So he needs blacks, Hispanics, and natives to do the work.
Right.
You understand? He benefited from that.
Right.
These devil women, you understand? She devils. You understand? They benefited tremendously from integration. You understand? Like, they just as evil, if not more evil than that male counterpart, you feel me? Because they have literally been the source of whole towns being burned down. You see what I'm saying? Like, you would take one she devil and she will lie on a brother,
Right.
and the entire town would get blown up. You understand? And then she'll come out and say she was just scared, she was lying, and nothing happens. You understand? So we got to realize what we're up against.
Right.
You keep going, Bubba Shaw. Verse 3.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden
And
ones.
consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? You understand? Like, we are the hidden ones.
Right.
What's hidden from us? Who we are. Our identity. Our culture. Our language. You understand? Like, everything has been hidden from us. But guess what? It's only been hidden from us. They know. Like, our records got taken, so we don't know. But they do. Their records are still intact. No one came and sacked their towns and stuff like that and took their records.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
They did it to us. Go ahead, Natsuzo.
And you're absolutely right, because since I came in the ISUPK, all I be thinking of, before I came to ISUPK, I thought about what do they got in the bottom of that Vatican. When I got in the ISUPK, I'm like, I know what they got in the Vatican. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those, what they got in the Vatican ain't what's it called? Whitewash. They got the original copy. You know what I'm saying? And I know they got it. You watch History Channel, you say, yeah, everybody permitted to go in there. Why are you permitted to go in there and see paintings? Why are they what's so special about that basement that nobody could go in there and see half of the archives you go in there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now we know.
Yeah, and what you're saying is heavy, because, like, people would think that we're lying.
Right.
People don't want to believe the Bible. Like, the Lord just said that. He just said thy hidden ones, you understand?
Right.
The hidden ones is because everything's been stolen from us. You understand? So, like, we don't know who we are. That's why if you ask 10 black people, what's your nationality, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Right.
And none of them will be an Israelite. You see what I'm saying? Good.
If I may, just one more
go
sidebar, and one more other thing about what I just said, the Pope, he praying to the Black Madonna. And that painting, that Black Madonna is an ancient picture.
Right.
So what else he can pull from the Vatican?
That's not the Russian icons, am I correct? Yeah, that's the pictures of the Russian icon, you understand? Like, that's what gets into the Dark Ages. It was called the Dark Ages because dark people were ruling the earth.
Right.
You understand? Then when they came with the Renaissance or the Enlightening period, you understand, that's what they came through, whitewashing, you understand, so forth and so on. That's why we're hidden. Our identity is hidden. You understand? Like, we'll serve any other religion on the face of the earth, but you tell a brother that you're Israelite, you understand, he'll be ready to punch you in your mouth. Or he'll try. You see what I'm saying? And it should not be that way. But the thing is, we're under a crafty beast. The Lord is telling us this, man. We're under an enemy that's very crafty. You understand? Keep going. Bubba Kasha. Verse 4.
Verse 4. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
That's what their wish is, that they can cut us off from being a nation, man. They and they've almost, like, if not for the ISUPK in 1969, who would know that we're Israelites?
Damn right.
Like, who would know that we were Israelites, you understand? That when we read these holy scriptures, man, and it talks about the children of Israel, and it talks about Judah and Naphtali, and it talks about Issachar, and it talks about Benjamin, that it will be talking about us, man. Like, who knew that? That's what they sought to do. They sought to wipe us out to where as though we wouldn't even be a nation no more. We would pretty much just call ourselves by the oppression that we was under. You understand? Like, this is what they sought to do to us. You understand? And it's worked. Like, it's worked. But that's why they can't stand ISUPK. That's why they can't stand us, because when your plan is working, and then you have these so-called Negroes who come up and they know these records, you say, man, how they know that? I'm talking to them. Who teaching them? They keep saying that they Israelites. How they know that?
Right.
And we can't scam, we can't make them shut up. You understand? Ain't nothing that we can do to put fear in them. Man, we can't get the Commander General Yohana. We can't plant a seed in there to bring their organization down. I'm saying this because they've tried.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they've tried to do these things and it don't work.
Right.
You understand? That's because the Lord is with us, man.
Most time.
The Lord is with us. And that's real deal Holyfield right there. You see what I'm saying? Like, the Lord is really with us. And that's why it's so important for us to understand who we are and understand what our calling is. Like, we're called to be righteous and holy people, man. We're not called to be criminals. Like, for a black man or Hispanic to think that he's a gangster, think he's a thug or something like that, you feel me? He's just destroyed. He's just destroyed, man. We only emulating what we see in our oppressor. But we're not called to be that way, man. We're the most humble people on the face of the earth. You understand? Until it comes to each other. When it comes to each other, that's when we want to go to war. That's when we got to prove how hard we are and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? But that's not the spirit that we should have with each other. That's the spirit we should have with these other nations. You understand? And we can have that spirit and be righteous. The Christian church will tell you that if you have any aggression in you, you know, that you got a demon in you. You see what I'm saying? That's why every Christian, that's why every male and black men don't like going to church. Black men do not like going to church because you got to be soft and weak. You understand? Like, you put any bass in your voice and stuff like that, and it's like, it's like you're a terrorist or something. You see what I'm saying? Like, you cannot, that spirit that the Lord put in us as black men, Hispanic, Native American, like that spirit that we have, we got to quench it in order to get by in the Christian church. I mean, damn that. The Lord did not require that of us, man. The Lord required us to be leaders of our communities, leaders of our families, you understand? The Lord required us to go out here and teach His word, man. That's what we're called to do. And when we know the history of where we come from, that's when our life and our mission becomes bigger than our life itself. You see what I'm saying? Then and only then is when you can actually go out here and start truly raising your people up. That's the way you fight your own demons. That's the way you fight your demons. Is to understand that, listen, you fighting a war right now that's bigger than you. You know what I mean? Let's not be selfish about yourself. Let's be selfless and help our brothers. You understand? So when you get that urge and they say, man, I want to go sleep with this whore, the next thought should be, I'm not going to dishonor. Not only am I not going to dishonor myself, I'm not going to dishonor my school. You see what I'm saying? Right now it's a brother. A brother just called me, and he's depending on me to be who I say I am, to help him out. You feel me? And am I going to throw that away to sleep with a whore? Absolutely not. You see what I'm saying? You got to realize that this is bigger than yourself. And once you realize that, man, that's when you're on the journey of beginning to become that man that the Lord wanted you to be, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. That's what we got to do. If I could, you can drop that. Let me get, we're going to go into some of these punishments that the so-called white man got to endure, you understand? Let me start in Obadiah 1 and 10. A lot of people say, like, why do you you got good in every race, you got bad in every race. You always hear the arguments, you got some good white people, you got some bad white people. You got some good brothers and you got some bad brothers. I know a lot of bad brothers, but I know a lot of good white people. You see what I'm saying? They the arguments that we hear.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, when we talk about the punishments, that's when everybody want to be an individual. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you talk about the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, when you speak of him getting punished, that's when everybody want to be a critic. No, you've got to place this one over here and that one over there. That's when everybody want to kind of isolate everybody. It's a case-by-case basis then. But as soon as you say something about a black man getting the punishment, you feel me? Lock them all up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Here we go. They on that quote-unquote nigga, that's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll put the black, Hispanic, and Native American man, they'll put us all in one big pot when it comes to punishment. But when it comes to suppressor, it got to be a case-by-case basis. Guess what? The Lord don't look at it like that. Look at it that way. The Lord looks at us as a nation, man. When we got on those boats to come over here into slavery, you had some Israelites who were still keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Everybody was not sinning against the Lord. And guess what? They still endured the same fate that those who were sinning endured. You understand? So if the Lord is going to do that to his own people that he called his own, do you imagine what he'll do to a people that he don't care nothing about? You understand? Like really, let that sink in.
Right.
The person that you love, that you cherish, you understand? They offend you. And though you love them, you understand that you got to punish them. You see what I'm saying? And you punish them. The person that you don't love, do you know what you'll do to them when they commit that same offense against you? You understand? Well, God loves everybody. God does not love everybody.
Right.
God does not. He absolutely does not love everybody. Right. Before you get to Obadiah, let me get Romans 9 and 13. Because we just brought out who our enemy is. Esau. Esau is our enemy according to the scriptures. You understand? The so-called white man. Our lineage, our forefather is Jacob. You understand? You had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? Jacob's name was changed to Israel. You understand? But Jacob is who our forefather is. And this is what the Lord had to say about it. Go ahead, Brother Kasha.
Romans chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved.
Jacob have I loved. You understand? Every black, Hispanic, and Native American, you understand? This is who the Lord loves. You understand? Like, the Lord is making a difference right now. He's getting personal. He's possessive, and he's making it personal to himself. Jacob have I loved. So, black man, I know you're oppressed. I understand that you on drugs and you've been taken away from me. You understand? But Jacob have I loved, man. I loved your forefather so much. I've loved your forefathers so much. You understand? That I love you. You understand? Jacob have I loved. Keep going.
But Esau have I hated.
Hold on. They say, Salaki, not to, I thought they said that God don't hate.
Salaki, he did it.
Esau is a person, right? He is the father of a people. Am I correct?
Father of a nation.
But they say not this all that God don't hate the person. He hate the sinner. He hate the sin that they do. He don't. What they say? He don't hate the sinner. He hates the sin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say, right?
But Esau have I hated.
That sounds like the sinner. Am I correct? It sounds like God's hate, man.
Yes.
God hates people.
God.
You understand?
God.
God hates this oppressor that we're under. God has no love for him, man.
God.
And this is what we got to understand. Now we can go back to Obadiah 1 and 10. And we got to realize we got to realize why the so-called white man has to be punished, man. Because we love giving him passes. We love giving him mercy on everything. We will pardon him. Like right now, from what I hear, Donald Trump, this was his last day in office.
Mm-hmm.
He pardoned, he made some pardons, and one was Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, and another brother that was in the rap game or something with Death Row, who was doing like a lot of years.
That's big. Yeah.
You know, he pardoned them three, right? He pardoned 140 people, but he pardoned those particular three. So you guys snooped the thank you, Donald Trump. You know, I appreciate that. You know, like he gave him a crumb.
Mm-hmm.
He gave him a crumb, and guess what? That's why I say a gift destroys the heart. Because no matter what he did to our people, no matter what he did to the Isukrites on the border, because he freed Lil Wayne, we'll forgive Donald Trump for everything he did.
Mm.
You understand? This is our spirit when it comes to everybody. But this is what the Lord say. Because though we don't want to punish, though we don't want to look at him and understand what he's done to us, you understand? The Lord does not forget. The Lord does not forget, and the Lord is going to be the one to exact punishment on him, not us. Like, we're not to harm any man. We're not supposed to go out here, and we ain't even got to be rude. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, the Lord didn't call us. We're not that kind of people. We ain't even got to be rude. The Lord will handle these things for us, and this is why. You got that?
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
It's a matter of fact. Start in verse 9, Baba Kasha.
Verse 9. And the mighty men of Teman shall be dismayed, to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
I say that the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. They're saying that the so-called white man will be cut off by slaughter. You understand?
Right.
And here's why. Keep going.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Like, people think that we got a problem with the so-called white man because of the color of his skin. And we had a problem with the so-called white man because of the color of his skin. You feel me? We would be no better than them. You understand? But here's the thing. We have an issue with him because of his violence towards us.
Right.
Because of his violence to our forefathers, our foremothers, and to us. You understand?
Right.
This is our right with him.
Right.
You understand? Like, they say, well, what about the black people that kill each other? You understand? When black people kill each other, it is a crime. It is something that we have to hash out amongst each other.
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, when a black man kills another black man, he goes to prison.
Right.
You understand? It's big business, man.
Right.
He goes to jail.
Right.
There is a punishment that comes along with that. This so-called white man has never received a punishment for any of the crimes he committed against our people, man.
Right.
And because he has not, because he called, he what did it say in scripture? He counts himself not guilty.
Mm.
He says, like, that's why I was so heavy with that devil said. It wasn't even heavy. It's not surprising to us.
Right.
Because we know the spirit of it.
Right.
But for him to say we were merciful to the natives because we didn't genocide them, he holds himself not guilty for the things he's done to our people. The Lord just said, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Keep going.
Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
Shame shall cover thee. You understand? What's the shame? What's the shame that's going to cover them? You understand?
The shame is knowing that we was all along really God's chosen people.
Come on, yeah, knowing who God's chosen people is, but not only that, realizing that they're not as powerful as they think they are.
Right.
You understand? Like, America is, like, not only America, but every Edomite nation, they're very proud, man. They take pride in their military might. They take pride in their dollar. They take pride in their economy and their government. You understand? Like, they are prideful people. It's a shame shall cover thee. The Lord is going to take that away from them. He's going to break the pride of the pride of their power. You understand? The Lord is going to do this. Shame is going to cover them then. Keep going.
And thou shalt be cut off by slaughter. For slaughter. And thou shalt be cut off forever.
And thou shalt be cut off forever. Like, this is the fate of the so-called white man. The Lord is going to cut him off, man. Like, he's going to be in astonishment, you understand? Like, when you may see his remains in a zoo or something. Yeah. You know, and you'll say, like, man, he used to run the earth.
Yes, sir.
Like, the earth feared him back in the day.
Good night.
He's good.
It's heavy that you bringing out, Obadiah, because you go in a Christian church. I don't think the Reverend ever read Obadiah, Pastor, Reverend, Deacon. Never read. They skip past Obadiah every church service. You know why? Because they're not real priests and prophets of the Lord.
Right.
You know what I mean? The real priests and prophets of the Lord is in the ISUPK. This is heavy that you bring it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, damn right. And that's the beauty of it, man. Like, they can't bring it out because the Lord didn't call them to bring it out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, in order to teach, in order to be a real teacher, you must first get taught.
Right.
You don't get taught these scriptures until you come into the ISUPK.
Right.
You don't understand what these scriptures mean until you come into the ISUPK. Like, this is where the real rebirth happens. You understand? Where you're reborn again, and these scriptures start to take hold of you. You understand?
Right.
Like, that's why in the Christian church they think that if they dip you in some water or something like that, that you're going to be baptized and come up new. No, you're not. More than likely you're going to come up more evil than what you were when you went in. You see what I'm saying? But when you come into these classrooms, man, and you take hold of these classes, man, that baptism is of the word. You understand? You start hearing these laws, statutes, and commandments that you've never heard in your life.
Right.
You know how many brothers and sisters who never knew that Obadiah was in the Bible, let alone read it?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like who read Obadiah?
Nobody.
Before you came to ISUPK, who knew anything about Obadiah? You see what I'm saying? I know I didn't.
And it's the shortest book in the Bible.
And it's heavy.
And it's the heaviest one.
Like, it's heavy. You see what I'm saying? But this is why the so-called Christian church, this is why they want to do away with the Old Testament period. This is why they would like to do away with it. And they say, we're under a new covenant, and, the laws and stuff, they're paid for this, that, and the third, you understand? But we just read New Testament scriptures. It's all one book, first of all. It's not new and old and new. It's just one book, first and foremost. However, for argument's sake, we just read a scripture in the New Testament, in Romans. This is when the so-called church was created. They say in Acts, that's when the church was created, right? We read in Romans where God said he hated the so-called white man. How do you get past that? Like, who read that in the Christian church? God is all love. He's not the author of hate. He cannot hate. And damn, in the New Testament say he can.
Right.
You understand? Like, this is the Lord say that Esau shall be cut off forever because of his violence towards us, man. We don't have a problem with the color white. We have a problem with the crimes that's been committed against our people, and no one's been punished for them, man. We want justice just like everybody else. Is that too much to ask for? When it comes to black people, though, it is. This society does not want a black man to want any form of justice, you understand? Because when a black man wants justice, this society realizes, the so-called white man realizes that he's the one that has to pay for it. You understand? This is why I ain't gonna say this is why he's so sadistic, you understand? Because that's just his natural state. You see what I'm saying? But this is why he's so crafty in his speech. He don't want you to feel any kind of animosity towards him. He wants you to look at him as the savior. You understand? Like I say, he's the one that creates. He's the one that will destroy the entire earth and then have you pay him to rebuild it. Like, he creates the problem, and then he's the villain and the hero of every movie. You see what I'm saying? He's the one who destroys everything and then builds it right back up. This is the spirit of the so-called white man. This is why we call him the devil. It just means the deceiver. This is why we do it, man. This is why we say it. Let me get Isaiah 14:1. He said, like, you got any questions online?
No question.
Yeah, if you have any, if anybody checking this class out, man, if you have any questions or comments, you feel me, go ahead and put them in the chat. You know, if you have any questions, we'll try to get to them as, you know, as they come in and whatnot. So, I mean, go ahead and, you know, put your question or comment in the chat if you have one.
So, like you said,
Isaiah 14 in chapter 14, verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob.
For the Lord is going to have mercy on Jacob, man. Like, we understand that we've sinned against the Lord. You understand? The Lord has been punishing us since we got over here. But he's going to have mercy on us. He's going to have mercy. This is like the ISUPK is the mercy that the Lord is showing. Like, the Lord is showing Jacob mercy by establishing the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana. You understand?
Right. Yes.
Because we have a sanctuary that we can actually go to and learn the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. We actually can learn how we can actually come back to and get in the good graces of the Most High. Outside of here, where do you go? So the Lord he's providing the mercy. You understand? We just got to come and get it. You understand? Keep going.
And will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
And will yet choose Israel. He's still going to choose the black, Hispanic, and Native. You understand?
Right.
He's going to put us in our own land. You understand? Like, when Christ come back and he put these nations and he punished these nations, he's going to set us in our own land again. We're not in our own land. We read that earlier in Deuteronomy 28 and 68 that we should not see that land, right?
Right.
Now the Lord is, when Christ come back, and this is a prophecy right here. He's going to set us in our land. You understand? Our own land. Keep going.
And the stranger shall be joined with them.
And the stranger shall be joined with them. So now you're going to have them say, yeah, there it go. You know, the stranger is the heathen.
Right.
The non-Israelite, you understand? He's going to be in the kingdom as well. You understand? ISUPK, you're some liars, right?
Right.
That's what that's what their arguments are. I've heard it. You understand? But keep going.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. They're going to cleave into a black man, to a Hispanic and Native American man. Then, you understand?
Right.
Let's keep going. Let's see what the Lord is talking about, man.
And the people shall take them.
And the people shall take them. You understand? Like, what people shall take them? The Israelites. The Israelites are going to take these strangers. You understand? How do you take something? When you take something, what do something that you take become? They become a possession of yours, right?
Right.
They're saying the people are going to take them. Keep going.
And bring them to their place.
And bring them to their place. So now we're going to have a homeland, and we're going to have these strangers with us. You understand? These heathens. And we're going to take them and bring them to our place. You understand? We're going to bring them to our homes. You understand? Keep going.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
And the house of Israel, that means blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, shall possess them. You understand? In the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, meaning they're going to be our slaves. You understand? You understand? So these strangers that's cleaving into the house of Jacob, they ain't coming as equals. They're not coming, to receive first-class citizenship. They coming as slaves, as servants and handmaids, to do as they are told. You understand?
Right.
Not as they want. They will do exactly as they're told. You understand? They will not have the freedom to do and to come and go and do as they please. They will not have that freedom in this day.
Right.
You understand? Like, they are going to be a possession. Keep going.
Right. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were.
And they shall take them captives, who captives they were. Who, like right now, we're captives. You understand? Like we're captives of our oppressor right now. People say, well, you got a good job and you can do this and you can do that. Listen, these are nothing but crumbs that the so-called white man is giving us. You understand?
Right.
Like we still got to clock in and clock out. You understand? They give us a lunch break. They tell you when you can eat, when you're not supposed to eat. If you're late too many times, you're going to get fired. You pay your house off. If you can't pay them property taxes, they're going to come back and they're going to repossess that too. You understand? Like we are still captives in this land. That's why we don't call it a job. We call it a slavery. Our profession as black men, Hispanic, and Native American men are to be priests unto the Lord. This is our profession. You understand? Anything outside of this is nothing more than a slavery to us.
Right.
You understand? They say we shall take them as captives, whose captives we were. Keep going.
And they shall rule over them. I'm sorry. And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And they shall rule over their oppressors. You understand? You know, we're going to rule over our oppressors. Like this is the judgment that's coming to them. They don't want to believe it, you know, because how could God be so harsh? Haven't I treated you good? Didn't I give you a bonus on the job? Come on, Billy. Yeah, aren't I a good guy? You know? Haven't I been good to you? And this is how you repay me? You know, they're going to try all the tactics, like all that little slippery words and quotes and stuff. They're going to be babbling in that day. You feel me? And you tell them Shema. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't have a fresh mouth with me.
Right.
You know, this is what's going to befall them, man. This is the judgment that's coming to this so-called oppressor, man. He's going to pay for the crimes that he's committed against us and our forefathers and our foremothers, man. Like we don't understand we do understand, but we don't. Like the brutality of this beast, man. For him to cut the babies out of our women's stomach, you understand, and bash our children against rocks, you understand, and throw our kids as alligator bait, you understand, and brutalize men, brutalize the women. Like we don't understand the brutality and the cruelness of this beast that we're under, man. The Lord does.
Right.
The Lord is going to put them under our foot. Go ahead, Najazo.
I mean, super happy what you bring out. You know, it's this one part in Django, you know, that, you know, when you get in trouble with your oppressor, you know, when I had my slave, they get in trouble, I'm going to treat them just like the oppressors on TV and all them, you know what I'm saying?
It's
like Django.
That's my favorite movie, by the way.
Okay. So remember the dude was on the tree.
Come.
And the thugs was trying to get him up, you know, he told him to come down real nice.
Come.
Like, man, come on down. And he was like, all right, I'll come down. But he knew the other ones weren't there. And he said, you got $300? Knowing that the slave won't got $300 because he said, do you got $300 for that fight you lost? For that fight? He was like, no, I don't got no, I don't got no $300. Oh, you don't got $300? Okay. Get him. And the thug, you know what I mean? He killed the man just for not having his money, you know what I mean? Like he could have stayed up in the tree and got shot down for all that, you know what I mean? But the white man talking to come down and get ate by the You know what I'm saying?
He'll finesse you into murdering you.
Good night.
That's what he'll do. He'll finesse you into murdering you.
Took the words out of my mouth.
You know, he's crafty, man. He's brilliant at it.
Right.
You understand? Look what he did to our native, to the North American Indians.
Right.
To the Gadites of the Bible. You understand?
Right.
You understand? He finessed them into their own murder. That's what he does. He'll talk so nice and so smooth to you, feel me? Like, man, he actually do got a heart. Like, you'll actually believe that in your mind. Like, something be clicking, like, man, I can't trust him, but he's so convincing.
Right.
Like, I don't see the deception in him. Like, you know, he's so docile, you know?
Right.
To where as though you actually listen to him at the expense of your own life. You understand? He won't be talking like that in that day. You understand?
Right.
He will shut his mouth in that day and do as he's told. You understand? The so-called white man has to serve out a slavery, man. His judgment is coming The Lord says he's going to cut him off forever. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Because you know how proud he is. You know he's going to fight back. He's going to fight our king back, right?
Oh yeah.
And our king, I like the scripture say. It says it's going to be as if he walked through a wine press. That's what his garment is going to look like, you know,
Right.
full of blood. Understand?
serious.
Like this is coming.
Right.
We're on the brink of it right now. And if you can't see it, good night. Like where are you at? You see what I'm saying? Like at this point, there should not be any black, Hispanic, or Native American to ever say that ISUPK is a hate group.
Right.
Every black, Hispanic, and Native American should be running towards the ISUPK. And you should be looking at that Christian church saying, why ain't y'all speaking up on nothing?
Right.
Why ain't y'all saying nothing about none of this? You understand? You praying for this country when the Lord is destroying this country for our sake.
Right.
You understand? And this is what we got to realize. Let me get Isaiah. We can stay in chapter 14. Let's hop to verse 21.
Verse 21.
Listen, and this is very important, right? Because this is what you always hear. I never had slaves. I didn't do that. I do feel bad for what my forefathers and foremothers did to your people.
Right.
But I didn't do it. So why should I get punished? Why should I feel the agony of what they did? You understand? This is what the so-called white man says to this day. You understand? This is what the young white, the young oppressor says right now, who marches with Black Lives Matter.
Right.
You understand? Who speaks out against his own nation on behalf of black people. This is what he says. I've never had, but I have black friends. I've never owned a slave. You know, I've never done any of those things. How can you hold that against me, what they did to me? Let's see what the Lord says about that. You got that?
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
Hold up. He said what? What did he say at the beginning?
Prepare slaughter.
He said prepare slaughter. What is slaughter? Well, like what is slaughter?
Slaughter is a lot of killing.
That's that. Yeah, it's death. The Lord said prepare it. You understand? Like that. Don't be how can I say it, like don't be last minute with it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Prepare for this.
Right.
Don't do it on a whim. You see what I'm saying? Last minute with it, late to the party. You see what I'm saying? No, don't do none of that. Prepare slaughter. You understand? This is what the Lord is saying. Prepare death. You understand? Keep going.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
Say for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. You understand? Because your father was so evil, and what he did to our people was so evil and so cruel. Oh, he didn't grew old and died. He didn't passed all the wealth into you. But guess what? You got to pay for it now.
Good. Right.
You understand? So the fact that you didn't physically own a slave don't matter to the Lord. You understand? This is what the so-called white man, like, he understands it. You know how you know how he understands it? He does the same thing to our children.
Right.
You understand? Your father wasn't nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing either. You understand? I'm gonna just lock you up and throw you in this jail.
Dang.
You understand? Like this is what they do to us. You understand? Your father owed me money. I'm gonna take it off of you. You gonna work for me. You gonna work this debt off. You understand? And in the process, you become a slave for the rest of your life. Where is that slavery held at? In prison. You understand? Like this is what he does to us. So he understands the concept of it. But when it comes to him, he does not. Because he can only understand judgment as it pertains to him and no one else. The Lord said, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. And what's next is so important. So just listen carefully. Go ahead.
That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the faces of the world with cities.
This is so heavy right here. The Lord said, prepare slaughter for them, you understand? For the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Right.
We're going to rule righteously.
Right.
You understand? If the Lord does not wipe them completely out, they will rise into earth again.
Yes.
You understand? With their crafty verbiage and how they talk and how they act so docile like they're not a threat, you see what I'm saying? We being as merciful and righteous as we are, we'll give them a pass. The Lord knows that about our spirit. If the Lord do not crush them once and for all, he will continue to rise.
Right.
And when he rises, he'll possess our land again. And he'll fill the cities of the earth with his people again. You understand? Guess who understood this? The Lord understood this not only in that day, the Lord understood it before. He told Saul to what? He told King Saul to go and he said, destroy the Amalekites. He said, wipe every one of them out. Man, woman, child, animal, infant, toddler, anything that has breath, kill it. You understand? Because the Lord knew something then. You understand? The Lord is telling us something again. But here's the thing. He's going to do it then.
Right.
The Lord is going to take the pleasure of doing it himself. You understand? Like, people don't realize that Saul, if he would have listened to the Lord, them Amalekites, throughout the generations, they are what you consider the so-called Jewish man today. Amalek was the grandfather of the Khazarians. You understand? So that Jewish man, the Lord was telling King Saul to cut him off back then.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? King Saul did not. And you seen how he rose in the earth, right? How he possessed his people possessed the cities thereof already. You see what I'm saying? All across the world. Damn, they even got a whole country. Go ahead, Nazo.
That's heavy. It's super heavy that you bring it out. Because, that Amalekite, they run Hollywood, NFL, the jail,
Right.
Planned Parenthood, housing, HUD,
Yep.
every outlet on planet Earth.
Right.
Good night. Every outlet that rat got his hand in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got his hand in it, and he's running the world.
The Lord understood that back then. That's why he told King Saul to do what he was doing. You see what I'm saying?
Dang.
But the Lord is going to take the pleasure of doing it himself. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said, so that he don't rise and possess the cities again. You understand?
Right.
If the Lord do not annihilate him completely in its totality, you understand? We being as merciful as we are, will allow him to rise again. You understand? The Lord ain't having that, man. The Lord is not having that, man. This beast has to be put down.
Right.
You understand? Ain't nothing that we can do. You can't talk to him. You can't rationalize with him. You can't reason with him. You don't go into the Serengeti and rationalize and reason with a wild, hungry lion. You see what I'm saying? That lion make eye contact with you. It's best for you to get out try to get out the way.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Good.
And one more thing, you know what I'm saying? This beast is something else. You know what I'm saying? Because he's telling you that the Lord, when he gonna bring, the Lord gonna bring his angels
Right.
to go against this beast. Like, he's telling you, don't go against it because you ain't gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody on this earth gonna win against this beast.
Right.
It's got to be something not even of this world come and destroy.
Right. But he ain't no threat to the Lord. He ain't no threat to our king. You understand?
Right. No, ain't no threat. Right.
It's just more so like our king. That's how you know he a brother. You see what I'm saying? He want to take the credit for that. You see what I'm saying? He want to show us, man, I got this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Imagine you on the block and you fighting with the local gang, every week, and you feel like, man, they so powerful, I can't do nothing with them. Then your big brother come, and in a matter of an hour or two, you feel me, he got all them answering to him. You understand? He done put all of them down. He said, you see what I did to them? Nigga, this what you can do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You gonna be like, yeah. You know, he bought that. That's my big bro. You see what I'm saying? That's what Christ is gonna do, man.
Right.
Christ gonna lay him down. You see what I'm saying? That's why we ain't gotta lift a finger, but we must come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like his judgment is our blessing.
Right.
That's why we started to saying. That's why we said that earlier. You understand? Like as we get blessed as this kingdom fall. As we get punished, his kingdom rises. Go ahead. Herb.
7 to 8-year-old have them on leashes.
Say it again.
7 to 8-year-old Israelites will have them in leashes.
Oh, leashes.
Yeah, absolutely.
7 and 8.
Hey, walking them down the street, you see what I'm saying? With a muzzle on his face, you know, so he can't speak.
Probably 5-year-old.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and this is what has to happen because of how evil he is, man. Like we've tried to befriend him. Like right now, you see black people, our black leaders try to appease him. You see black politicians, they want to make it seem like, they want to show to him, I'm not like the rest of the black people. I'm articulate, I'm educated, you know, I'm not violent, I don't have an attitude. You can disrespect me and I don't take it personal. You see what I'm saying? I get your corny jokes. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what our leaders do when it comes to him. That's not the spirit the Lord gave us, man. That's not the spirit the Lord gave us. We're going to come back to the spirit. The only way we're going to come back to the spirit that the Lord gave us is by understanding these scriptures, man, that the Lord has given us. And when you understand that the Lord requires for you to be a man, like what is a man? A man is a brother who takes on the principles, who commits himself to serving the Lord, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Like when we do that, that's when we put our spirit on. That's when we know it's a sin to be effeminate. It is a sin to be weak. You understand? It is a sin to fall victim of something that you should have reached out to your brother and got help for. You understand? Like, that's why in ISUPK the motto is no cowards.
Right.
You understand? There's no cowards, man. Like, you got to be extreme with this. You know why? Because they used extreme measures to put us in this condition. We have to be extreme in getting out of them. You understand? That's why we got to take everything so serious here, man.
Right.
Because as soon as you don't, that's when you allow. That's why I say in the scriptures, say a little leaven leavens the entire bunch. You see what I'm saying? If you take a glass of water and you have an 8-ounce glass of water and you pour a pinch of acid in there and you drink it, that acid will kill you. You see what I'm saying? That acid will take you out of here. So you got to make sure that it's pure, man. You can't even risk that little pinch of acid getting into your water, into your beverage. You understand? You got to make sure that it's pure through and through. That's why you got to be extreme with it. You understand? You got to filter out the things you know you should not be doing and the things you should be doing. And the only way you're going to know what that filter is by coming in and learning what these laws, statutes, and commandments are, man. Here in the ISUPK. Trust and believe. This so-called white man, this oppressor that we're under, his punishment is upon him. If you black, Hispanic, and Native American, it's imperative, man, that you get into these classes. That mean that you come into the ISUPK and you learn you learn what you should be doing according to the Lord. Learn your history, put your culture back on, and put your spirit back on. You understand? That's the only way that we want to come back to being the nation we were designed to be and made to be. And that's above every other nation on the face of this earth.
Right.
With that, I want to say shalom. You understand? We the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, under Commander General Yohana. And we, this time, we're going to call up priest in the office of 1,000, knock us off for reading the security announcements. Shalom.
ISUPK, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding Jenna Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or sister come into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'asha. 10% of every penny. If any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, we got Purim, February 26th, and we got the Passover March, April 24th. Check the schools for further details. Remind every argument to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on forth for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to become a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which include black boot, shirt, pants, headbands, and scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel. Almighty, my Shabbat, my Barak, Yahba Shemir Shabrak Dub.
Yahba Shemir Shabrak Dub.
Class dismissed.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shah, Stop. Christ, and fall upon that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
That's fine. That's no bullshit. Oh, yo. I gotta sick. I ain't giving my security deposit yet. I ain't had my own place. I've been living with women for the last 27 years. I've been living with bitches. Yeah. I ain't gonna know how to act. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I ain't know. I had to sit back and That's yours, shit. Unless you fuck with another nigga. Navigate. Yeah, I was more evil way to think. You know? Yeah, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to teach myself don't say